so good. Do you know what? It feels like it's been absolutely ages since I've done a live in the office. And in all honesty, as it was last Thursday, because Friday I don't do a live, Saturday mornings was in the car, and then yesterday mornings, the new weight loss week was in the car also. So yeah, it's been a while. It's been a while since I have been Saturday doing a live, but we're in now. It is Tuesday, the 24th of February. We are rapidly approaching the end of Feb into March. March is when spring happens. Life is good. It's meant to be 13, 14 degrees here today. We'll take it. I'm still flipping cold this morning, but we'll definitely tell that. Was it yesterday? It was really nice. But we've had some flashes of sunshine where the weather's been pretty decent the last day or two. Yeah, it's been all right. Anyway, yeah. I hope we're all good. Did we have a good Monday? That's the big thing. I didn't do a live last night either. I didn't do a live last night because I was watching the football. Have we had a good Monday? Have we had a good start to the old weight loss week? How did your Monday go? I struggled. Do you know what? I say I struggled yesterday. I didn't struggle at all. Normally, Monday for me is a really low calorie day. I can do 1,700 calories on a Monday, and that'll do because normally I have quite high calorie Saturday, Sundays, and my appetite's never that high on a Monday. Yesterday, out of routine, and my appetite was racing a bit. Now, when I say my appetite was racing a bit, I had 2,084 calories. Right? So if me having to eat a bit more because my appetite is racing is me consuming 2,084 calories. If that's a high calorie day nowadays, or certainly for a Monday, I will take that all day long. Now, normally I like to bank a lot of calories on a Monday, or so yeah, I still banked over 500 calories yesterday, but normally I like to bank, again, if I'm having 1,700, 900. And then normally my appetite increases through the week. I think it's just a psychological thing. There's no reason for it. So this week, we've got nothing on this weekend at all. And then a busy weekend next weekend, which is going to be my first planned, not deficit week. It is going to be a maintenance. I think we're going to have a maintenance week next week. I'll talk about that though, probably a bit more towards the end of this week or start of next week. So yeah, what am I saying? Yeah, so I had an all right day yesterday. I just ate a bit more, and I think what it was, I was up at 5:30. I was covering spin for an instructor. So Claire, a regular instructor at the gym, she normally does 6:30 spin and then 9:15 spin on a Monday. She was off to Tenerife yesterday, so I said I'd cover her spin classes. And I just think a combination of getting up at 5:30 in the morning, obviously doing exercise actually in the moment decreases appetite, but I think psychologically it can increase appetite. And then for me, I never eat breakfast, and this is where I had the few extra calories. I never eat breakfast. Very, very rarely eat breakfast on a Monday. Sorry, on a Monday I do eat breakfast, but very rarely on a Monday. But I did spin at 6:30, and then I was spinning again at 9:15. Wanted to replenish those glycogen stores to make sure I was energized for my second spin class. So I had a Rice Krispie Square and a banana, not loads of calories, 220 calories, but those are calories I wouldn't normally eat. So I had those. The rest of my eating was pretty standard, really. So anyway, there we go. That was my Monday. Laura on YouTube, good morning. I'll do a top 5 on TikTok. Does eating high protein make you constipated? Can do for certain people, but generally what makes us constipated is lack of fiber. Lack of fiber, lack of hydration. Those are the two main things that would do it. Now, if you're eating a very high protein diet and you're not eating a lot of fiber, the amount you'll go to the toilet will be a lot less. Get your fiber in, get your water in. Now, if you do currently have a low fiber diet, do not go from a low fiber diet straight into a high fiber diet, because that can make you constipated as well. I highly recommend going from just eat easy. If you use NutriCheck, you track your calories. have a little look through your diary. Another reason why it's good to be consistent with tracking. I don't get you to track any specific macros. There's no real need, but it's good to have a look back at where you've been. Look back at the last 3-4 weeks. Oh, yeah, I've only been having 15 grams of fiber, 10 to 15 grams of fiber a day. It's not the worst amount in the world, but, you know, and then hydration is another good one as well to look at. Right, let me do top 5 on TikTok. Ray's asked a question on Facebook. I will get to you, Ray, very, very shortly. So let me do top 5 on TikTok, and then I'll be back with you. Lou, good morning, is in at number 1. Steve is in at number 2. Katie's in at number 3. Callum's in at number 4. And Gemma is in at number 5. Good morning, guys. My top 5 this morning. Thank you very much for jumping straight to live. Coming and saying hello. Maddie, good morning. Leeds, good morning. Kelly C, good morning. Paula, Stevie, Mr. Blobby, Katie Hef, Tina, Sheila H, morning. Rolling this morning. Nelly News in, good morning. Karen, Steph GC, good morning. Michelle, Becky, good morning. Great start to the week for me. Head feels really in the game. We love that, Tina. You've said that recently to me, so got to use that motivation, and it's great to hear. It really, really is. All good here. Got all my steps in, tracked all my food, and banked 300 calories. Paula's on there. Love that. Migraine City over here. Oh, Gem's not been so good. Last couple of days. Feel sick this morning. Just don't put too much, you know, when you're ill, you've got to prioritize things. Prioritize things a little bit, shuffle things around. And you know, whenever we're ill, the priority is always getting better, isn't it? So, Gem, I hope you're better soon. Let's have a look. Stevie Bank 500 calories yesterday. Very nice. I had the Korean barbecue rice bowl, 2 fried eggs, broccoli, and cheese in it. Sounds really, really delicious. Cheryl's in. Good morning. Anna, good morning. Nice. Yes, I went for my mop chop yesterday. I've not had a haircut for about three and a bit. I normally go every 10 days. Every 10 days, 2 weeks. So like 2 weeks maximum. I hate not getting my hair cut on a regular basis. Anyway, I went yesterday to get the old mop chop. So definitely feel better for that. I will be back in there next week. So I've got a christening. You got to go for a haircut before an event. Well, I have anyway. But yes, mop chop, definitely feel much better for it. Right, let me scan up. I think I've done. Anyway, yes, there we go. All good. Right, let me scan down see if I missed anything. Anna, good morning. Anna says, good morning. Weird seeing Man U up there. I mean, Newcastle are doing. Let's have a look. What's Anna saying about United? Hello, mate. I'm feeling great this week. Not as great as Newcastle in the league. No, they're having a poor season. This season, I think they just need to move on. Not football talk. I think they need to move on from Eddie Howe. I think Eddie Howe's a fantastic manager, but because they're so limited with buying new players, he can't do anything new, and it's just the same thing week in, week out. And teams just know how to play him, and that's it. When you bring in a new manager, you bring in new ideas. They're not as predictable to play. So maybe a good manager shouldn't make a team predictable, but that's what they are at the moment. They're quite predictable to play, and they're just, you know, it's a shame. Eddie Howe's a brilliant manager, absolutely brilliant, but there's no one new in there. They played the same team for 3 seasons in a row, so you've got 150 games to look back at and go, oh, they just play this way. Right, well, we'll play this way against him. So it's a tough one. You've got to bring new players in all the time, but they can't do it because they've got no money. Well, they've got loads of money, they just can't spend it. Pancakes, bananas, strawberries, lotus and choc chips for brekkie this morning. Very, very nice. Very, very nice. Love all these great food creations. Gotta love the food you eat. If you enjoy your diet, whether you're on a diet or not, whether you're trying to lose weight or not, it makes it so much easier to stick to that calorie deficit. I had a veg every day yesterday and banked 615 calories. Brilliant, Angela. Everyone's smashing it. I could drink plenty of water and take some Anadin. I'll be fine, but head is throbbing. Just do the best you can. As always, Jem. Right. How often did your scales just not drop? A month now, hovering at the same weight without a loss, in a calorie deficit, and track everything. All right. So Ray here is having a bit of a meltdown because, and I get it, I've been there, because the scales aren't moving. He's currently maintaining, plateauing, having a weight loss stall on the scales. Okay, short-term fluctuations in the body can cause short-term stalls on the scale. It doesn't mean if you're in bless me. if you're in a calorie deficit, I feel like I'm getting a cold. I've been feeling it for about 2 weeks. You know, just a bit of something. I don't know if it's because it's becoming like spring's on its way, few plants are cropping up or something like that. So I don't know if it's a little bit of hay fever. Or if I've just got a bit of a sniffle. Anyway, there we go. So short term, we get fluctuations in the body, increase of water weight, increase of food weight, increase of water retention, and that can counterbalance. So if you're in a calorie deficit, you are always losing body fat, right? Over a day or two, not really noticeable on the scales, but over periods of time, week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 4 weeks, your body fat's constantly coming down, right? We can counterbalance those losses on the scales with, like I say, an increase of food weight, water retention, a bit more salt, a few more carbs, just a few more busier weekends where you're still in a calorie deficit, but you've had a few more maybe unhealthier foods, as we might call them, causing a bit more water retention. You might have gone out and had a few drinks over the weekend, which is alcohol, dehydration, again causes water retention. This will all counterbalance what we see on the scales. It doesn't stop fat loss. But if you've lost in 2 weeks 2 pounds of body fat, but in the last 2 weeks, for whatever reason, or when you get on the scales, you've lost 2 pounds of body fat over 2 weeks, but in the last couple of days you've gained 2 pounds of water retention, or 3 pounds, or 4 pounds of fat, whatever, right? The scales will reflect that. So 2 pounds of fat loss, 3 pounds of water retention gain, you're a pound heavier on the scales. You're not fatter. Scales measure your weight. They don't measure your fat, right? They measure your weight, what you currently weigh, not your fat loss or gain, right? Now, don't get me wrong. Over time, if the scales consistently come down, the majority of that loss is going to be fat. Just like over time, if the scales consistently go up, the majority of that gain is going to be fat, right? But on an individual weigh-in, it's telling you what your current weight is, yeah? Now, these fluctuations can just hit us for, up to 4 weeks. Up to 4 weeks, short periods of time. Now, if you're in a consistent calorie deficit, and it's a deficit that I recommend, 3,500 calories a week, over 4 weeks, you'll have lost 4 pounds of body fat. So even if you're carrying 3 pounds of water weight, right, and it's just hanging around for a few weeks, at 4 weeks or more, we would start to see some losses, right? Now, generally, you'll get a bit of a whoosh where you'll lose your water weight and then you'll see your body fat. So the scales might not move for 3 or 4 weeks and then suddenly, bang, 5 pound drop. And you're like, oh, brilliant. That's because any water weight that was knocking about has gone and you're also seeing your fat loss. Ray, if you go more than a month and the scales haven't moved, you have to face the reality you're not in a calorie deficit. Why? That's what we need to find out, right? And I say this all the time. People that like really try to convince me that they're in a calorie deficit by going, I'm in a calorie deficit, I track everything, I weigh everything, I do this. They're actually more than likely trying to convince themselves that they're in one. And they probably know that things are starting to slip, right? So I would generally weigh every 2 weeks, checking 1, scales haven't moved. So that's 2 weeks down. Checking 2, scales haven't moved. That's 4 weeks down. Checking 3, scales haven't moved. That's 6 weeks of plateauing, maintaining. It's nothing to do with fluctuations in the body. It's to do with you've changed something, you've slipped. You're not doing what you were doing. You might think you are. You might have convinced yourself that everything's right. It's not. Nothing stops us losing weight consistently. Only us. That's the only thing that stops us. Us. Right? You're in a calorie deficit, you lose body fat. Your body doesn't go, oh, this person's in a Jono's in a calorie deficit. He's been in a calorie deficit for 6 weeks, but I'm going to be a right little tinker and stop him losing any body fat. You're basically saying that if I drive my car around all day, I don't lose any petrol. Well, you do, right? Because you don't consistently replace petrol with petrol. You have to go to a petrol station and you're constantly burning fat. The body burns fat 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Now, fat burning and fat loss are totally different things. You can burn fat till the cows come home. But unless you consume less, unless you put less fat back into the body than what you burn, your weight will stay the same, right? So you can do all these amazing fat burning exercises, left, right, and center that people put on. Oh, do this for fat burning and do that for fat burning and blah, 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 right? But if you consume the same amount of calories as you burn, your body fat will stay exactly the same, because you might burn 3,000 calories of fat in a day. And if you eat 3,000 calories, you just put it straight back in there. Everything we eat turns to fat, pretty much. Pretty much everything we eat. All these people, oh, don't eat carbs, they turn to fat in the body. So does protein, so does fat. Right? Protein and fat and carbs don't make you fat. Overconsumption of calories makes you fat. But we have to, everything we eat, we have to convert into energy stores. Now, a percentage of carbohydrates that we consume will convert into glycogen to be used as energy, right? But the majority of it, alongside proteins and fats, will be converted into body fat to be used as energy. So that's what body fat is. It's just stored energy. Your body's a battery, right? It needs constant energy to run, you know, all the time, right? And your skin, is a battery, basically, and your insides, your midsection. It's a battery that stores energy. You can think of your body as anything that runs off batteries. Your mobile phone, right? Your mobile phone, runs off a battery. And that's what your body is. Your body runs off a battery. And your mobile phone constantly taps into its phone's battery. I'm doing a live now on TikTok on my phone. My phone is constantly tapping in to my phone's fat stores, its batteries, energy that it's got stored in there. Right? And when my phone is empty, right, I plug it in and then I put more energy back into it. Right? Your body is constantly tapping into your energy stores to fuel it. Yeah. And just like my phone this morning had 100% battery, when it's empty and I charge it back to 80%, my phone's in an energy deficit. Right? Starting off with 100, I've put 80 back in. It's minus 20. My phone's got 20% less energy in it than it started with. So all you need to do with the human body. The human body every day might start off with 100% of energy, right? And that 100% of energy equates to 2,500 calories. That's your calorie maintenance. It's your job on that day to put less energy back in, right? So you need to recharge your body every day to 80%. Doesn't mean it doesn't get 100%. Because unlike your phone, right, your phone has one battery. Yours has got reserves everywhere. That's body fat. And it will keep making up the deficit. Right? So your body gets 100% of energy every single day. It just depends where it gets it from. Well, it always gets it from your body fat, but it's how much you replace. Right? And what you want to do over time, 2 months, 6 months, 12 months, 18 months, is drain your phone's battery down. Right? Drain your body's battery down. Yeah. But yeah, if your scales do not move for 4 weeks or more, you're not in a calorie deficit anymore. So you need to find out why. And generally, it's just down to method. For a lot of people, it's two reasons: method or self-sabotage. It's why you're not sticking to your calories anymore. So method could be the method you use is unsustainable, too low at calories, too restrictive a diet. And then also self-sabotage, where you're not doing what, and self-sabotage could be just something is so simple, like self-sabotage. In fact, I'm going to do a live on self-sabotage next week. I've not done one for a bit. All right. Let me jot that down. Self-sabotage. Self-sabotage doesn't need, it sounds like it's self-sabotage. Sabotage. Sounds like such a bad word. Self-sabotage could just be not giving an arse about your weight loss journey. Sky, I can't be arsed this week. Right? That's self-sabotaging your journey. Right? It's not too deep. We don't need to look into it too much. It's not like, oh no, what's going on here? Being a lazy bum is self-sabotaging. If you're trying to get a promotion at work and you graft your arse off for 6 weeks, and then you're like, I can't be arsed with this, you're probably not going to get your promotion, and it's just your laziness that's not going to get you there, right? So it could be something as basic as that, whereas self-sabotage could be something a lot deeper. It could be the fact that you've been losing weight, you've been doing great, you feel amazing about yourself, but the little devil inside you is saying you don't deserve to feel great about yourself. So because you have no self-worth and you're doing things that are improving your self-worth, but you don't feel you deserve it, again, you start self-sabotaging. Loads of different avenues we can go down with that. Lucy Bond. I've lost 138 pounds in 11 months. It was very heavy. Okay. That's very well. I was going to go, wow, to lose 138 pounds. I lost 10 stone in my first year of my weight loss journey, which is 140 pounds in 12 months. So Lucy is kind of in line with what I did, maybe a little bit ahead of me. And I'll hold my hands up. Even I started off at 37 stone, and losing 10 stone in 11 months was too restricted. In 12 months was quite restricted. It really, really was. All right. And I think that held me back then in 2015 a bit. Didn't make me regress, but I think it held me back because in 2015 I lost a stone. So over the first 2 years of my weight loss journey, right, I averaged 5.5 stone a year, which is really what I probably should have tried to lose 5.5 a year. What? Don't get me wrong, it happened. I didn't regress. There was no major, but it is, yeah, definitely. Anyway, I'm 68 pounds to target and trying just as hard, but seem to be stuck. I've done this on 12. There you go. You've over restricted, Lucy, massively. You weren't that heavy. You might have felt you were, but you weren't. Right, I've done this on 1,200 calories the whole time, but my recommended deficit is 1,600. Should I start eating more calories? You've hit your brick wall. You've hit your brick wall. You know, kudos a little bit for managing to stick to such a restrictive amount of calories for 11 months. But as I've just said there about Ray saying he's not losing weight anymore, yeah, you've just, you know, it's generally down to approach or self-sabotage. If the diet's too restrictive, you're going to hit your brick wall, and that is what you've done. Why your recommended calorie deficit is 1,600 calories? No chance. I'm not having that. If you're still 68 pounds overweight, so let me. I'm going to guess it. Lucy's told me a little bit. I'm going to guess that Lucy's goal weight is 10 stone. It might not be, but I'm going to guess it. She's 68 pounds from target, so I'm going to guess that she's currently 208 pounds. Right? And if she's already lost 138 pounds, that means she started off at 346 pounds. Right? Lucy, am I anywhere close? I might be a million miles away, but I'm going to guess. So that means Lucy started off at just under 25 stone. At just under 25 stone, you know, and the deficit Lucy's been in over a year. So a pound of body fat is 3,500 calories. And Lucy's lost 138 of those. Right, so Lucy's been in nearly 500,000 calorie deficit over 11 months, right? And she's hit a brick wall. She's crashed and burned. She's overly restricted herself. As we get lighter, it obviously weight loss slows down because our metabolism changes. And yeah, she's just, you know, she's just hit a brick wall. It's very, very common. Now, what we want to do now is we need Lucy to preserve those losses, because it's so easy. If we hit, the harder we hit the brick wall, the further we bounce back. And Lucy eating 1,200 calories a day, starting off at probably around 25 stone, right? She'll have hit that brick wall really, really quickly. And this is where people, you know, and what we don't want Lucy to do in 2 years' time, go, oh yeah, in 2025, I lost 138 pounds, gained it all back. Such a common scenario. So we need to nip that in the bud. So, Lucy, we need to flip you to healthy, sustainable fat loss. You've got to. And that ain't eating 1,200 calories a day. And if you're anywhere over 200 pounds, I have no idea what you move. That ain't eating 1,600 calories a day either. Now, the worst thing Lucy's done over the last 11 months is create a bad habit of getting used to or thinking that 1,200 calories is what she needs to eat to lose weight. I always use the analogy of like, X Factor. You know, you get a singer on X Factor and they're really, really good. Right? They're really, really good. And it's like, oh, what have you been doing? Oh, I'm a pub singer. I've done cabaret shows, and they're there, and they're very dramatic, and they warble a lot. Blah, 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 you know, they're doing all this at the end to try and capture the audience. And Simon Cowell goes, you're a really good singer, brilliant, but you've just got loads of bad habits that you've created, and I don't know whether we can change those bad habits or not. So that's like Lucy. Lucy's really good at weight loss. She's lost 138 pounds. That's amazing. She's changed her life. To take 10 stone off your body, whatever your start weight is just awesome, right? Why is eating 1,200 calories a day bad habits. Like what is the main issue with that? The main issue with that is when you start eating healthier calories, like Lucy's dropped, like if you divide 138 by 11, like Lucy's been dropping over 10 pounds a month. So when she starts eating healthy amounts of calories and starts seeing 4 pounds a month, she's going to think she's doing rubbish. Oh, listen, I'm doing terrible here. I'm used to losing 10, 11, 12 pounds a month. Only losing 3-4 pounds a month. No, that's healthy, sustainable fat loss, right? So, and from that, she could get very frustrated because she was like, oh, this time last year, Jan, Feb, March, I lost 3 stone. Jan, Feb, March in 2026, I've lost half a stone. It's terrible, dude, awful. She'd be then really tempted to revert back to 1,200 calories a day, right? And it'll be very hard to pull Lucy away from that. Also, when Lucy starts eating more calories, she's going to see weight gain, not fat gain. She's going to see weight gain. She's going to see an increase in water weight, an increase in average food weight, average water weight, and water retention. And again, people over the first 3-4 weeks of eating healthier calories see their weight, oh my God, and they start panicking. So there's lots of things that, we need to be aware of. Because like I say, Lucy's changed her life. She's done amazing. She's lost 140 pounds. The last thing we want. And we need to try and get Lucy consistently back into a calorie deficit, consistently losing again while we're raising. We obviously get a lot of bad habits, which is why we end up fat, right? But 2 wrongs will never make a right. So if we lose our weight in the wrong way, you'll never solve your weight issue by losing. Because like I say, you'll lose weight, but there's a big chance you'll regress. So, Lucy, we need to know what your current weight is, what your current weight is. We need to know how much you currently move, right? We need to get you on a healthy, sustainable amount of calories, and you need to trust the system, and you need to put your faith in that, and you need to accept that maybe over the next month or 2, you're not going to lose any weight. You're going to get used to doing weight loss properly. Right, and then I'm now 19 stone. Okay, so you're a bit up. What did I have? Yes, 208. Why I picked 10 stone is it is such a common goal for people to get to 10 stone. Right, you get to 10 stone. So I did 208 pounds. So I did 15 stone. So I'm not a million miles away. I'm 4 stone out from your start weight. All right, so I'm 4 stone out. So I'll say that I'm not a million miles away. Right, so let's go in. I'm 19 stone, 7 pounds. All right. I'm 6 foot tall. My first goal is 16 stone. Great. You're 6 foot. So yeah, you definitely never want to be 10 stone. All right. To get that losing £2 a week on Nutricheck, my calories come out at 1612. I always knew 1200 wasn't a lot, but I've obviously had such a good success eating 1200. You will do, right? And because you're in such a big calorie deficit, you're going to lose loads of weight eating that. And again, kudos for being able to, not many people can sustain that for 11 months. You have done. And you have changed your life around. Yeah, massively. Right? I'm just so bloody scared to go up in calories. Again, I just said, bad habits that we've created. Lucy's now scared of eating anything more. 1,200 calories is the calories a 10-year-old should be eating, minimum. Right? An adult that weighs 20 stone shouldn't be eating 1,200 calories a day. Right. Now, don't get me wrong, we've got lots of body fat stored in us still at 20 stone that will make up the deficit. But what body fat doesn't do is it doesn't control hormones. It doesn't give us nutrition. It doesn't make us feel good about ourselves. It doesn't make us feel energized. Right. So that's the big issue. Loads of walking, 3 to 5 liters of water a day consistently. And everything you said is so right. And me, thank you. Okay. So, Lucy, I'd love to work with you. Right, you don't have to. Obviously, it costs money to work with me, and a lot of people don't want to spend money. But my one-to-one plan is $29.99 to sign up and $29.99 a month. Right, Lucy privately message me, and I'll do you a bit of a deal. Right, because I love people that have changed their lives like that on her own. Right, but Lucy started off at 30 stone. Right, and we never ever want Lucy to go back there. All right, so drop me a DM. Drop me a DM if you're interested in working with me. All right. And I will do you a bit of a deal. I want to get you on a healthy, sustainable amount of calories. I want to monitor that. And I want you to have me to fall back on When you do my one-to-one plan, you can message me whenever you want, 24/7. So Lucy might have an unhealthy relationship with the scales, so she might start weighing. She might be weighing herself every day. And again, when we get Lucy on a healthy amount of calories, she's going to scale. She goes, I'm £3 heavy. Message me. And I'll tell you why. It's just daily fluctuation. Trust the system. But Lucy will check in with me as well every 2 weeks. We'll create a progress sheet. She's got to put a faith in me, right? But what we will end up doing is over the next 3 to 6 months, we'll get Lucy eating a healthy amount of calories. We'll get her losing body fat again. Is it going to be £12 a month? No, right? We'll get Lucy down to £4 a month to 6. She's got a really good level of movement. She can still do 6 healthy and sustainable at her current weight. And this time next year, we'll have Lucy past her goal. Her first goal was 16 stone. We'll have her at 15. All right? We'll have her at 15. You'll be smiling. You'll be happier. You'll be more energized. You'll be able to enjoy life. But we've got to break bad eating habits, which probably haven't been broken fully because you've been eating 1,200 calories a day. We're going to break those habits and then put healthy ones in. All right. Let's go through another YouTube message. I got to £129 and started moving to maintenance. Right. From 1850 to 2050. I'm currently at 1975 per day, but my average weight has gone up to 131. Ideally, I'd like to stay around 130. Okay. So Caitlin's she's been on a weight loss journey, and she's got to her goal weight of, she got to 129. Her goal weight's 130. So she's gone a pound past her goal weight. She started reverse dieting, as we call it. You don't really need to do that, but sometimes it's not a bad thing to do, because if you go from deficit straight to maintenance, you're going to see a big gain on the scales. What we need to understand is when we go from deficit calories, right? And she was eating 1850 a day, which is great. That if you're 130 pounds, you're just over 9 stone, and you're eating 1,850 calories a day. That's a very healthy, sustainable calorie allowance, right? Now, you said you want to go from 1850 to 250. So you've only been in a 200 calorie a day deficit. So a very small deficit, but still you'll get fat loss off it. But the lighter we are, we don't need to be in such a big deficit, right? When you go from even 1850 to 2050, eating an extra 200 calories a day, extra 1,400 calories a week, your average food weight, water weight, and water retention is going to increase in your body because you're taking on. We've always got from here, right? Not from here, but from your stomach. But this is where stuff goes in. So we could say from here to the 2 holes you've got at the other end of your body, right? We've always got a certain amount of food, right? So you have undigested food in your stomach, semi-digested food, small intestine, fully digested food, large intestine, and then waste product in your bowel, right? That is your food. And that is it stays pretty constant if you're pretty constant with your eating patterns, right? If you go from eating 1,850 calories a day to 2050, that is all going to increase slightly. And that will all show on the scales. Just like if you didn't eat anything for a week and you got the scales like, oh, I've lost 10 pounds. No, you've just massively reduced your average food weight. We also have average water weight and we have average water retention. And this changes depending on how much food we eat. When you go from deficit to maintenance, you're eating a bit more, you're drinking a bit more, your water retention is also going to increase as well. And that will show on the scales. It's natural. It doesn't mean you're fatter. It just means that your average weight inside your body is increasing a little bit. Now, what I tend to do with my clients is, and I've got a couple at the moment that are very, very close to maintenance, and they want to hover around a certain weight. So let's say Caitlin wants to hover around 130. I actually then recommend dieting past. So you're going to go a bit further on the journey. It's a bit like, I don't know, it's a bit like driving. If you want to drive from Manchester to London, it's like going into Surrey. So you go actually past London, right? And then when you stop for whatever reason, you'll get pulled back into London. That doesn't make any sense, but I'll think of an analogy that'll work with it. But yeah, I recommend going a little bit further on the journey, and then when you start eating a bit more, going to maintenance, you'll end up where you want to be. So Caitlin wanting to be 130, I would actually do two things with Caitlin because she's light. I don't know how tall she is, but as someone that wants to be that light, like early 9 stones, I would either say have a bit of a reality check on what your goal weight should be. Maybe instead of it being 130, it should be 133, right? Which is 9.5 stone, which I don't care if you're 4'11", right? That is, especially if you've been overweight, that is a very healthy weight to be. Forget the BMI scale, it's full of shit at times, right? So I would either reevaluate your goal weight, or if you want to be 5'3", perfect. So 9.5 stone, 5'3", perfect, right? You don't need to be any lighter than that, right? So I would maybe, Caitlin, reevaluate your goal weight at 133. And when you get up to 2,050 calories a day, that's probably where you're going to sit. You said you're at 131 now. You might go up another pound or two, right? Or if you generally want to be 130, we need to be dieting down to, say, 126 instead of 129. And then you'll gain 3 or 4 pounds from going to maintenance calories, and then you'll sit. But you need to understand, weight maintenance is not about being at this number forever. Right, I'm at 130, I'll just be 130 now for the rest of your life. You won't, right? Your weight will always fluctuate. If you're eating in a calorie maintenance, your body fat will never change. That'll stay exactly the same. But like I say, water weight, food weight, water retention will always cause daily, weekly fluctuations. You've also got to accept when you get to your goal weight, there are going to be times throughout the year where you will gain some body fat. Tenerife in June. Hendu to Magaluf in September. Christmas, right? So weight maintenance isn't about just being at your maintenance. It's about being at your maintenance more than being at a deficit or a surplus. Weight loss is about being at a deficit more than maintenance and surplus. Weight maintenance is about being at weight maintenance or calorie maintenance more than, but you're still going to have surpluses, you're still going to have deficits. Pretty much every Tom, Dick and Harry in the land is in a calorie deficit in January. They might not purposely put themselves into a calorie deficit in January, but they'll be in one. Why? Because a lot of people, they have a week and a half of overindulgence over Christmas time, and then they just get into January and they'll do things like, they might never have had a weight issue, never have dieted in their life, but they will do things like they'll do things like not having a takeaway, doing dry January, right? You know, they'll walk a bit more, they'll do an extra couple of gym sessions a week, whatever, right? They'll just change things around a little bit, which will naturally probably decrease their calorie intake, increase their calorie output, and they'll just end up in the calorie deficit while they get rid of their Christmas weight, right? And it might only be a couple of pounds, yeah. So yeah, that's the you know, that's kind of where you want to be. So if you're heading towards maintenance, you either want to go a few pounds past maintenance so that when you move to maintenance calories, you'll settle roughly around your goal weight, right? Or you need to reevaluate your goal weight and go, do you know what? My goal weight's 130, but I'm fully aware that, you know, and it all depends on where you're at. Like I say, for me, Caitlin, 5'3", 9.5 stone. Like, do I really want Caitlin dieting down to under 9 stone to then just sit at 9 stone? What's 130? Like 9 stone 4 pounds. She'd have to go down to like 8, 13. Not really. I don't think there's any need to that. I would reevaluate and just be happy at 133. That's just my personal opinion. You do what you want to do, whatever makes you happy. Sometimes we get fixated on numbers and we don't realize, you know, sometimes it's, you know, as this a saying that I absolutely love is, and I say it all the time, is you can't have a dream body if it's a nightmare to maintain. So when we try and be too low with our goal weight, it can just be too hard, you know. Advice for finding the motivation. I'm unhappy, but I can't shift my mind to start tracking calories. Motivation's intrinsic, and I'll be absolutely honest with you. You know, everyone thinks a successful weight loss journey is based 100% on motivation. It's based on probably 25% motivation, 75% determination, how much you want it, right? And if you haven't got any determination in you don't want it. We have to be that harsh with ourselves at times. We have to be honest with ourselves, and don't get me wrong. I get clients that don't lose any weight for a year. They don't do anything. They just bounce all over the place for a year, lose a bit, gain it back, lose a bit, gain it back. But they stay fully accountable. They stay checking in. They stay honest with themselves about why they're not getting the results that they want to get. And that's determination. Now, some people might go, well, they're not very determined if they're not consistently losing. No, the determination is keeping them accountable, keeping that desire in. Even though they can't, for whatever reason, consistently stick to a calorie deficit, they are determined. And it's kind of like moving chess pieces around for a lot of clients. And sometimes we'll just, or finding that combination. And that determination will find the combination. And it could just be a case of they're working on their mental health for 12 months. It could be a case of they're just finding what works for them. It could just be a case of they're learning to love themselves again and to be kinder to themselves. And sometimes we can't do that. Sometimes we can't have successful weight loss because we self-sabotage, right? There'll be lots of different reasons, right? But there's got to be that under, I just can't be arsed going to the gym. Go to the gym. I'm not saying you need to do that for weight loss. Oh, I can't be arsed tracking my calories. Track your calories. And it's about building habits. And it's that grit of your teeth. And I always say, grit your teeth. Get at it. Do you want it or not? Like, you're so unhappy all the time. Why would that unhappiness? And again, it could be mental health. It could be depression. There's so many different factors. So many different, things that we need to look at. And some people will argue with me and go, it's not just a case of the want and desire. It is at times. I did a live on this a couple of weeks ago with my clients. And I said, when I first started coaching, I was a bit too softly. I fully get that. And it wasn't a case of, and I'll be brutally honest with you, I was a bit softly for two reasons. Number one, I'm trying to build a business, so I'm scared of upsetting people and them leaving and not working with me. That's not number one. That's just one reason. The main reason, though, is I don't like upsetting people. And whenever I give advice out to people, I'm always scared that it will upset them, right? And I always think, whenever I give advice out, I always think I'm giving this advice out to 37 Stone Neil. I say that a lot. And 37 Stone Neil was a fragile, big monkey. He really, really was, right? He was a unit of a fella, but inside he was broken. But I had to be honest with myself. Did I give myself a right good talking to a few times, look in the mirror and go, right, stop this now? Yeah, I did. I had to be harsh on myself at times. And over the last couple of years, and I'm not a harsh coach. I don't want anyone to think I am. And I don't read the Riot Act, and I don't do this and I don't do that. But I've started being a lot straighter with clients. Rather than, like I say, I'm always trying to find an analogy, always trying to find, and I still always do that, always trying to find a little click. And, I can tell when people are checking in if they're being a bit hard on themselves. And I'll tell them, I said, look, you need to be a bit kinder to yourself. You need to stop being so harsh on yourself. Stop being so overcritical, right? I had 3 clients this week that all had really good losses on the scales, and they were all hypercritical of themselves. Now, I always recommend all the time having a little look back, doing a check-in, having a little look back, what's worked the last couple of weeks, what hasn't worked, where could I improve, have I slipped up a little bit, was I a bit always have a little back and work on those things. But don't be hypercritical. We can't be perfect. I always say we're not robots, right? So, but sometimes you've got to lay it down the line. And generally, anyone that can't even drag themselves to try, you don't want it. And if you don't want it, stop punishing yourself to say you do. That would be my honest advice. Because when you do, for whatever reason, something else is more important than the weight loss journey. And you've got to prioritize your journey. It doesn't mean you can't still live life, but 52 weeks in the year, and weight loss has to be the priority for the majority of those weeks. And sometimes we have to not do what we want to do. And sometimes we need to say no. And sometimes, because that's the thing, that's how we are successful on the journey. And at the end of the year, you'll look back when last year, I've talked about this a bit, 2022, 2023, I slipped. I did. I was a bit complacent, a bit naive, probably struggling a little bit in my own mind. I don't really suffer with my mental health anymore, but I think at the time I probably was going through a lot of stress. And I can handle it pretty well, but it can take its toll. And 2024, I gave myself a kick up the bum, and everything stopped. So a little bit of regression, a little bit of weight gain, stopped that, lost a little bit, gained a bit back, bit inconsistent. And last year, I made some quite big changes again in my life. Changes that I'd made beginning of my weight loss journey, prioritizing weight loss more. And, last year, did I turn down several afternoons of beers with the boys? Yeah. Did I turn down, even if we went out for a meal, again, having a few drinks here and there, being a bit more? Yeah. Did I turn down, did I chuck food away that, I've only eaten half of that, don't need the other half? Yeah. I made lots of little changes. I ended up 3 stone down. Did have a brilliant 20, loved it. Absolutely loved 2025. It's one of the best years I've had for a long time. I made so many changes that I thought, or I'd got back into my head, that my life would be less if I didn't do those things. My life ended up being more, right? And, we've got to do that sometimes. That's where the priority comes in, And at the moment, I said this 6 months into my weight loss journey. My mindset changed, and I knew I was going to have success on my journey. I didn't know I was going to lose over half my body weight, become a personal trainer, set up an online coaching. I didn't know any of that. I just knew I was never going to live the way I had lived for the majority of my life, certainly my adult life, ever again. I was going to sort that out, whether I just got down to 20, I say just got down to 20, whether I got down to 25 stone or 21 stone or whatever, I didn't know, but I knew I was going to be in a much better place. And I remember someone asking me, and they sort of said, what some big mindset changes. And I said, I'm a food addict. I know that, right? And I have a lot of emotional eating issues, but life became more important than food, whereas food always more important than life. And that's because it was my coping mechanism. It was something I turned to. But I think 6 months into my journey, and I saw how much I'm sorry, I've lived as an adult from 18 to 33 as a morbidly obese man. And it is brutal. It is absolutely brutal. Being obese is hard. Being morbidly obese is brutal. And I never realized until I'd lost a decent amount of weight, I never realized how brutal it was. I never realized the effects being actually had on my life. I even look back now and to think the way I used to live my life, it absolutely. And like I say, addictions are hard, but life became more important than the addiction. And that's where you need to get to conquer things at times. And it is a mindset thing. It is a mindset thing. And sometimes it's got to be a case of, it is just how much you want it. What do you prefer? Do you prefer being unhappy, miserable, and overeating food, or do you want to be happy and smiley and be more controlled around food? Again, I'm not saying it's that easy to change, but you can change your eating habits. And that's what you need to do. You've got to change those eating habits. And a lot of it's most of it's 99% of it's in your head, if I'm being honest with you. So it's a hard one to answer, but now, are there lots of things we can do? Yeah, I'm a one-to-one weight loss coach. come work with me. It's $29.99 sign up and $29.99 a month, right? For accountability and support. I've always had accountability and support throughout my weight loss journey, right? Did I ever work one-to-one with a coach? No, but I created my own accountability, right? And if you can do the same, do the same. If you can't, work with someone. There's no shame in that, right? How did I create my own accountability? I was a gobby sod, right? At the start of my journey. Whenever I tried to lose weight in the past, I never mentioned it to anyone. I just went about my business. And I was just like, right, I'm going to lose weight. I never mentioned it to anybody, right? Not even my mum and dad at times, right? Just never meant. I just went about my business. And sometimes my mum would comment, go, oh, that looks, my mum would be like, oh, that looks healthy. I was like, yeah, mum, it is. Oh, that's another healthy meal. Yes, mum, it is. Right, she had to highlight it. She didn't, right? That annoyed me. Then my rebellious streak started kicking in. Probably a couple of reasons why I sabotaged myself. But when I started my weight loss journey in 2014, I told everyone because I wanted to lose weight differently to. So in the past, I'd always stayed quiet, stayed like a little field mouse, just scuttering around. I wasn't little. I was probably like the biggest rat you've ever seen, right? But just scuttering around doing my own thing. When I started my weight loss journey, I was telling every Tom, Dick, and Harry, right? That was my accountability because I'm a stubborn person and I couldn't stand it if anyone was like, oh, I told you so. Oh, I told you so. I hate it. I absolutely hate it. I hate being proven wrong. I do. It's one of my traits. And sometimes it's a negative trait. Sometimes it's a positive trait. So I told all my friends. I was all over social media. People blocked me, left. People unfriended because they were probably sick of me posting my weight loss journey left, right, and center. Right. And yeah. So and I was just vocal to everybody, right? People in the office at work, people in the pub, people on the street. It didn't matter. How do you know someone's a vegan? Because they'll tell you. How do you know Neil's on a weight loss journey? He'll tell you. And he'll tell you several times a day. And I didn't care if people got pissed off about it because it was my accountability. Because I didn't want people to go, oh, he told me he was on a weight loss journey a year ago and he's still really fat. I didn't want, so that helped me. I'm not saying it'd help you, but that was my accountability. And then joined the gym, right? And I started going to the gym all the time. Again, it was my accountability. And, I got really involved in gym life. I'm like that at times. I'm a really underconfident person in certain things. You might not believe that, but I am. But in social situations, I've always been, even being 40 stone, I've always been quite out there, right? And I think it's a defense mechanism. I was always the clown and always the funny one, or tried to be the funny one, or this, that, and the other. It's like people won't like me because I'm fat, but they might like me because I'm funny, or because I'm a nice guy, or because I'm easy to talk to. And I was always like that in the gym. So you get people that come into the gym again that just scurry into the gym and walk on the treadmill and then walk off. That's fine if that's what you wanted to do. I didn't. I come in, I talk to people. There's like a gym desk at Ruby Hall if anyone's ever been, and there's fitness instructors there all the time. Like, hey, all right, I'm Neil. Like, I'm here to thingy. And then I'd ask people in the gym, I boost people's egos. Some like that guy that's absolutely henching corner. Hey, mate, obviously I've got my bingo wings here. What can I do? And they'd love it. They love it. And they'd show me how to lift weights and this, that, and the other. And then I'd make friends. And I was just like that. And then I'm like, oh yeah, I'm Neil. Yeah, I'm on a weight loss journey. Yeah. I would be quite like that in certainly when I went to Ruby Hall and I got more comfortable and I started going on a regular basis. And I was just like that. But that was my accountability, just being open and vocal about it. And people would ask me all the time, how's your weight loss going? Because everyone knew about it. And I never wanted to stand there and go, oh, it's doing shit. Right? I've not lost a thing for 6 months. Right? So do you know what I mean? It's not so like I say, just because that worked for me, I'm not saying that works for you, but that was my accountability. And then when I became a personal trainer, accountability again, I don't want to be the fat personal trainer. I don't want to be the personal trainer that shouldn't be a P. Don't get me wrong, that was one of my USPs. And you're never ever going to look at me and go, he's never been overweight. I don't think you ever would. I've got loose skin everywhere. I've got bandy legs, not knees. Like, it's just who I am, right? I always think that I can tell people that have lost loads of weight. I see people, they've lost loads of weight, right? I can just tell, right? So yeah, I was just, you know, but then when I became a personal trainer, you're like, I want to be, it's like now teaching spin. Anyone new to my spin class sees me walk in, they'd be like, oh God, this is going to be easy. Now, in fact, I covered a class last Thursday night for an instructor that was poorly. And I walked in, and Matt does my class on a Saturday morning. And I walked in, he went, are you teaching? I went, yeah. He went, oh. I went, what? He said, I've gone for a 10K this afternoon because I was hoping for an easier class. And he's like, because my classes are flipping, they're hard. I make it work, right? And I was like, I'll take that as a compliment. But people, if they saw me as a spin instructor, they would be like, he's a spin instructor. He's going to, okay. And yeah, I'm a spin instructor, and you will leave my class like, absolutely, you better wring your t-shirt out if you put the effort in. That's just who I am as a person. And then, but like I say, I regressed a little bit 2022, 2023. But that's because I lost some accountability. When I stopped one-to-oneing, face-to-face with people and just doing this, right? It was like, oh, I don't need to be an example anymore. I think that was it. I think that was a big thing, you know, and maybe trying to be an example for so long took its toll. Maybe that caused me to hit the brick wall. I don't know. I think that's personally, I think that's nonsense. I want to be an example. I want to be a shining example. And I actually feel like I let my clients down a little bit in that time period because I, you know, you don't think it at the time, but I knew I'd regressed a little bit. I knew I'd gained some weight back a little bit, right? But you don't want to admit it. And for rights and wrongs of it, I was still, don't get me wrong, I was still 16 stone down from when I started. You know, I'd still lost a tremendous amount of weight. It's not like I've gone back up to being 37 stone. But now, back to, I'm literally like a stone and a half away from being the lightest I've ever been. Weight loss isn't my priority at the moment, but I do want to be the light. I'd like to, I'm going to try and be the lightest I've ever been by the end of this year, which is 16 stone, 3 pounds. I don't think I'll ever go any lighter than that. I just want to prove to myself I can do it while not being a personal trainer, right? While doing a sedentary day job like I do now. Though I do teach spin a couple of, I do teach spin a couple of times a week. So I am a fitness instructor, if I suppose you might want to call me that. Mel, good morning. Julie, good morning. Do you have a six-pack? Yes. Yeah, I do. Most people do. In fact, everyone pretty much does, if I'm being honest with you. Can you see it? Absolutely not. It's covered in a layer of fat, right? But I do have one. And actually, a six-pack is most people that have a six-pack are quite unhealthy. And most people go, don't be so stupid. Honestly, most people that have to diet down to expose their abdominals have such low body fat percentages. They have massive hormone imbalances, eating disorders, things like that. There are some people that have natural lean physiques where they have a six-pack, you know, and you'll see, no, this person on Instagram's got a six-pack. Yeah, they diet down like absolute billio for their pictures, and they'll rehash them pictures for 6 months. They're not like that all year round. I've worked in the fitness industry now for 8 years, right? There's so much naivety from people there's so much bullshit in the fitness industry. And then there's so much naivety on people from the outside looking in because they don't realize the innings of it. You know, I watch influencers like they've got an eating disorder. They've got an eating disorder. They're claiming that they're this, and this. They're unhealthy. They've got hormone imbalance. She doesn't have periods, right? She's so skinny, right? Because she don't feel the body correctly. I know it. I've worked in it for too long now, you know. So it's just, but like I say, I'm not saying every single person that has a six-pack isn't healthy, but you'd be amazed if you went and got the bloods done of 6 people that are a healthy weight, that train, that exercise, that have an overall healthy diet, but they don't have a low enough body fat percentage to expose a 6-pack, and you then got the bloods done of 6 people that do, I guarantee the health markers on the people that are fit, healthy, fuel the body correctly, don't have a ridiculously low percentage of body fat, will have better health markers and better hormone regulation. You need fat to regulate your hormones. Generally, for most people, they need 10% body fat to expose abs properly, right? You're very rarely going to have enough fat in your system to regulate a lot of hormones with 10% body fat. And this is why people cut, these bodybuilders or photo shoot people, because it isn't healthy to be such a low amount of body fat for long periods of time. And a lot of people can't maintain it anyway, But there's a lot of naivety around what is classed as healthy. Got a dentist, see you later. Good luck with the dentist, Julia. Anyway, there we go. I love spin. That's the one thing I do miss by not belonging to a gym. Yeah, our spin isn't spin. It's indoor cycling, really. I still call it spin. And I try and make it a bit spin-based because I make it quite fast-paced and this, that, and the other, and mixing up with resistances all the time. But anyway, I've got to go. It's been a pleasure as always. I've got to go and review 5 out-of-date Marks and Spencer's. I'm going to call them breakfast options. I think they're breakfast options. I'm going to try them all. I got them all as a whoopsie on Saturday, which was their end date. It's now Tuesday. They'll be absolutely fine. The amount of people that are scared of dates on food is crazy. And don't get me wrong, certain things, meat, dairy, yeah, you have to watch. Veg lasts forever, doesn't it? Tin stuff. Its date will be 3 years down the line, and you could eat it in 6 years' time. It'll be absolutely fine. Certain dairy for me, like yogurt. I eat yogurt 2 months out of the day. I do. If it's sealed, like if it's been opened and it's not airtight, no, you can tell it's gone dead sour anyway. But yeah, I'll go. I had one on Sunday. I went to the back of the fridge, Muller Light, 25th of October. Boom, straight in, no issues. Yogurt's gone off milk anyway. As long as it's airtight and it's not had any more bacteria breeding in it, it's absolutely fine. Anyway, let's go try 5. What we're trying, 5. Breakfast options. Some of them I'm really looking forward to trying. Some of them I'm not. Guys, if you're on plan or in the community, I will be back in about an hour, maybe just less, for this morning's weight loss coaching live. I'm doing how to track tricky calories, basically. So I'm going to try and cover most bases, things I can think of, things that people message me all the time. I don't know how to track this. I don't know how to track that. I don't know how to track the other. Right. So I'm going to try and cover as many bases. But if there's anything specifically that I might not cover in the live that you really struggle with tracking, because it can make or break your tracking week, and I'll go through that, then have a think now, and I'll see you at 10:30-ish on the Zoom. I'll send the links out shortly. Everyone else, when am I back? I am back tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. and I'll be sat right here. TikTok, Facebook, YouTube. I'll see you then. Have a great Tuesday. Hello, you can say hello. You've not been on a live for ages, have you? Oh, she's not been on a live for ages. Oh, she good girl. Oh, she just been bobos, haven't you? Oh, she just been bobos. You don't come on live as much anymore, boss. Have you gone camera shy? Have you gone camera? Oh, big yawn. Oh, that's a big yawn, isn't it? Right, I'm going to go and eat loads of things from. You got hiccups. From M&S. I'll see you in be just over an hour. Give me till 25 to 11. Oh, TikTok. Sign off TikTok first. Who else am I signing off to now? YouTube, Facebook. I'll be back tomorrow morning, 8:30 a.m. See you then.